that I will have impulsive behaviors and it feels like the right thing to do and it might feel amazing, but once that high is gone, you look back and go, why did I do that? Why did I listen to that version of myself, which is still me? I need to identify the next time I have this feeling, and I need to not ride the feeling anymore because it is unproductive, and nobody's going to think that I made a meaningful change in my mental perspective after less than a week of going on an unhinged ranting meltdown where I made a rap song about abusing my girlfriend.
A lot of the time, I would blame her for things that are not her fault.
Maybe this is good.
And I truly believe I didn't know any better.
Dude, you have to stop with this victim shit. You know what's so interesting? I keep having to hide messages in my chat about people saying Brad tasted music for president. I don't really know what the rest of this means. So I'm pretty, and to be honest with you, and it's because we're going to cover Brad taste in music. So I kind of feel like this guy is having such a crash out that he's making a bunch of fake emails or fake accounts just so that he can come in and, I don't know, be weird. And it sounds like a little bit of a conspiracy theory, which it totally might be. But at the same time, this guy has made video after video and left it up for like 4 seconds and then privates it. And then like he's been spiraling. So I unironically wouldn't doubt that this dude is like legitimately on a crash out, coming in here and just being like, Brad for president. Just, hey, let's just chill out, dog. All right, guys, this should be a short one. It's Bradley Taste of Music. It's made a video called Sorry. He's doing. I personally think he's doing a great job. I think you know, he just keeps making these ranting, rambling videos where he crashes out after it came out that he definitely abused his girlfriend. He was screaming at her. And I think that him just consistently making new videos and immediately deleting them, I think that's almost where we're getting close. We're getting close for it to work. Listen, I can kind of feel bad that he's clearly going through some kind of like some kind of an episode. I don't know if it would be manic, but there's something going on there. But like this is just not productive. This is certainly not productive behavior, honestly, because there was no threat of any information of him being abusive even coming out. The woman wasn't like, his ex-girlfriend wasn't even like, I'm going to say something if you know, or ruin your life or anything. She like just didn't want him to talk about her, but he felt the need. He felt compelled to talk to her. He lives in this kind of world where he's right about everything, and it's unproductive, I'll say. This is the male version of that. It's TikTok psychiatrist girl, you know. So let's see what we got here, Bradley.
Hi, I just want
to in prison.
Make this video because
thanks, man.
This is over now. I have nothing else to say.
Makes sense. That's usually when I Okay. Hey, it sounds like we needed this video.
I want to actually thank Tina for sharing the video.
That sounds like you're on a coke, boy.
See, I'm really scared of her because she's smarter than me.
Okay. We got to stop, man. We're 28 seconds in and you've already victimized yourself. Because actually, if he had said, I want to thank Tina for releasing the video because I didn't realize how disgusting I was back then. I truly didn't realize it back then. I was so hyped up and in my own whatever mental perspective that I thought I was the victim in these circumstances. And then when I heard that, I was like, holy fuck, that's me. That's insane. And like, that's horrible. And I can't believe that that was me. If he had said something like that, we actually, like, that would have been his path to redemption. Potentially. There's a chance. Because now we're showing legitimate critical thinking on past behaviors. But we didn't get that. What we got instead, well, you know what? Maybe we will get that. Let's continue. But what we're getting so far is I'm afraid of her because she's smarter than me. Okay. I mean, you're hamming it up a little bit. Right now, what I'm hearing is I'm the victim of her because she's smart.
When
the woman that didn't want to come forward and talk about any of this is smarter than him. It's like, wow, what is the implication? I don't understand what you're trying to say. Are you trying to? I think he's trying to say he's a victim of her.
Our relationship, like,
yeah,
I'm younger than her.
Whoa, by how many
And I
years?
never really had a strong foundation, like at home. And when I went to go live with her,
Okay. I thought that she lived with you in your house. What?
She thought very differently than I did on a lot of things. And
okay. A lot of edits here, which a lot of jump cuts, which means that I'm imagining that he's editing this.
a lot of the time, I would blame her for things that are not her fault.
Okay. Maybe this is good.
And I truly believe I didn't know any better. And that's what's so scary about it.
Dude, you have to stop with this victim shit. You have to stop. I don't think I knew any better. Like, there's a way to talk, have this conversation in a productive capacity. I've never been nearly quite as bad as Bradley over here, but I've been in situations where, like, back then I was very unproductive in my expression of anger. I never hit anybody or anything, but like, I made people afraid. You know, like, you know, I talk about it sometimes, and you don't mean to. But to sit here and say I didn't know any better, all it does is say I'm a victim. I should have known better. You know, I guess the implication is that I didn't know better, because or else I wouldn't have done it. Like, I didn't realize how bad I was being. But there's just like, we're blaming our parents now, right? Like, well, I didn't know any better. Okay. That's not a productive expression, because the way that you're expressing it, even if when you say, like, I didn't realize how bad I was, there is an implication that you didn't know any better at the time. You're not focusing on it, and that's not the emotional focal point. Right? That's not the emotional center of the conversation. The emotional center of the conversation is like, yeah, that was shitty, and I shouldn't have been doing that. That's it. Add in the fact that you're younger, of course, but like, that's all we need. Also, how much younger were you than this girl? Like a year? Okay. You know what I mean? Like, there's things that you say, there's implications behind them, and then there's like the emotional load carry as well. Like, that's why, you know, we say things with not just with our words, with our like emotions. And so, like, when you phrase things certain ways, they will encourage the thought. And they encourage the expression of like a victim complex too, or some kind of victimhood. And you're not the victim in this situation.
I keep trying to fix stuff.
Okay.
But I'm just like not as aware of things as other people. And
okay.
I get shit wrong, and I think I'm doing a good thing, and I end up really hurting someone.
I don't know how I feel about hearing this, because I don't think it's authentic. Okay, I feel like these are things that I said in my video about Brad, and I don't know, and like, I don't know. I think Brad watches some of the stuff that people say about him, and so I would not doubt that Brad watched, because this is like, okay, maybe it's authentic. I don't know.
So, I'm just saying I'm really glad she put out the video.
Okay.
Because the idea of I'm being blackmailed, like, is finally out of my head. And I think that
Why? I want to understand why that's out of your head. Is it out of your head because you think it's wrong, or is it out of your head because you can no longer say that because there's no quote-unquote blackmail information on you? These are very important, because in one instance, what we're saying is that was a ridiculous thought. I never should have had it. The other instance, we're saying, now that it's out, I don't have to worry about it coming out. I want to know which one.
She knew that, because
she
like, is finally out of my head. And I think that she knew that because she, again, is really smart.
What?
She gets like lots of help mentally. Like, she is very clear-headed.
Okay. Sorry. Two things that I'm hearing here. Thing number one, I'm hearing that she has a lot of mental health help, which is why she's more balanced than you, and then you are still a victim. Please stop focusing on that. It's not productive. Thing number two that I'm hearing is that you think that she released the video of you screaming at her in an abusive capacity so that she could help you in the long run, so that you no longer had it in your head that she might one day randomly decide to release this information that could kill your career. And I truly don't think that is that. I think the fact that she has expressed to you that she wants no part in the public conversation about this, and that she wanted you to remove videos where you even talk about her in an inappropriate capacity, which seems to be every time you talk about her, that doesn't support this at all. What the fuck are you talking about? I think it's more likely, unfortunately, that Bradley is abusing substances again, and he's just kind of spurting out every single thought that he has, and then he's taking the video down. And what I would really say to that is you need to learn that your impulsive behaviors are fucking stupid. This is a fact. This is something that I've had to learn, that I will have impulsive behaviors. They're not like this. A lot of them centralize around content creation and doing big things and making big changes. And it feels like the right thing to do. And you might even engage in doing it. And it might feel amazing. But once that high is gone, you look back and go, fuck, why did I do that? Fuck, why did I listen to that version of myself, which is still me? I need to identify the next time I have this feeling, and I need to not ride the feeling anymore because it is unproductive, and nobody's going to think that I made a meaningful change in my mental perspective after less than a week of going on an unhinged ranting meltdown where I made a rap song about abusing my girlfriend. You gotta stop. You need to sit with your thoughts. You need to be uncomfortable with those thoughts, and you need to let them wash over you. Because this is not behavior that would allow you to come back, and I know you want to come back. I could see that you want to come back. It's very obvious that you want to come back. But that doesn't mean that this is the way that you come back. You have to chill the fuck out. You have to actually you actually have to change productively, meaningfully, and not appear to have changed. Because if you just pretend that you've changed, and you act like you've changed, as you talk, people will realize that the words that you're saying about your change don't match the way that you're acting about other things. It needs to be a genuine change that changes you to the core in the way that you express yourself in general, or people are going to intuitively pick up on it and go, this doesn't seem right based on what he's claiming that he is and what he's claiming that he's doing. This is ridiculous.
You know, and what she did helped me, you know, tremendously. Okay. And I think that I'm going to be using electronic devices like significantly less.
Great. That's actually probably a very good thing.
Like, this forced me offline and helped me
it didn't. You're still online.
Finally break out of this like awful cycle that like getting a YouTube channel at like 17 years old and then becoming like really big, like that like fucks with your head and your ego.
That's fair, actually. That's actually a legitimate thing. Yes, that is true. I think that like when you get big and popular and famous, it will have an interaction with your development as a person, because you get full of yourself. You know, even me, I'm 35 and I do well enough to sometimes I have like a little bit of an ego and I have to coach myself out of it. Like, I don't deserve anything I have. I'm not entitled to anything I have. There's nothing special about me. I am extraordinarily lucky based on like a ton of things that happen in my life that I'm even here. As a kid, you don't necessarily have those thoughts, right? So that's fair.
And
he's 25 now, I think.
Yeah, she was a victim of that. Absolutely.
You can't say that.
That like fucks with your head and your ego.
She's not there yet.
And yeah, she was a victim of that.
The problem I have with him saying this is that she was a victim of that. Is that what that is referring to? Is him having an inflated ego from being really popular on YouTube at a young age. And while it is valid that you would have an impact and it would be negative, and like in some ways, like it would inflate your ego to get popular really young, you cannot separate that from yourself, because that's you. That thing that happened to you, which you are happy about because you liked being a content creator and you still want to get back to it. That's why you're making this. is still part of you and your growth as a person. And the way that you're talking about it is you're doing your best to try not to put it onto you. This is your fault. You treated her that way. There are, I'm sure, a tremendous amount of different things that led up to the moment where you treated her horrifically and you screamed at her like an abusive piece of shit. But those are still you. I think it's good that you don't like that it's you. And if I'm being charitable, that's why you're talking about it like this. If I'm being less charitable and maybe more realistic, you're doing it because you want to victimize yourself, which I don't think is an unrealistic or unreasonable conclusion to come to. But like, if I'm being, more charitable, maybe you're doing it because you want to separate it from yourself because you hate that. And I think that that's valid. And I'm hoping that that's the majority of it. But it's still you. And you have to understand that it's you and that is your fault before you change. Okay? You can't detach it. You can't dissociate that bad version of yourself from it. It's not appropriate. Because it makes you feel too good about it. And that's the thing, is like, you need to be productively stressed out about things. And one of those things here is you have to feel bad about yourself for like what you did to her and how you treated her. And that is like, and that needs to happen. It doesn't need to happen to a point where you like spiral and do anything horrible to yourself. Don't do that. But like, you have to sit with that thought for a little bit, and you have to sit with that version of yourself and be like, that was horrible. Like, that's terrible. Because if you don't, and you just kind of push it to the side, like, how are you actually going to start using that to filter the way you act moving forward? Like, I'm not convinced. I don't know when that happened exactly, but that was somewhat recently, right? So like, I don't like, you have to sit with that thought. You have to sit with that, and you have to let that become part of your core, because this didn't happen. Your behaviors created that scenario, and there's a bunch of different things. But like, the way that you interact with certain things, the way that you interact with your anger, is what created that problem. And so, like, depending on the way that you manifest your anger or express it, you need to catch yourself before you get to that point of escalation, right? Everybody has that point. I have a point of escalation, and I was getting close to there the other day because there was something like fucked up happening with my mother-in-law and her ex. Well, she's getting divorced or whatever. And like, I looked at my wife, and like, I was like, I didn't say anything, but she knows when I'm right there. And so she stopped, because she knows, she understands me, right? So I am fortunate enough to have my wife there, like, as a person, to help me not get to that point. You need to identify your point of explosion. You need to do everything you can to avoid getting there and productively releasing your stress and your anger, because you're probably an angry person. That might be working out. It might be walking every day. It might be it's not smoking weed. It's not doing some kind of like a narcotic. That's not good for you. That's a terrible thing for you, because then when you're not on it, you're stressed out, and that's not a good thing for you or your body. You need to do something to get that energy out, because it's manifesting itself negatively. Right? Like, that's a big problem. Is like, there's a lot of energy. Young men, I think especially, have a lot of energy and they don't get it out productively. And if you don't, that means that the energy becomes negative. So you need to be productive. That's why working out is like a really positive thing. So you need to like really sit on these thoughts.
Absolutely. And right now, she is getting the support that she deserves. And again, if you're just hate watching this, she is in a horrible situation right now. She can't.
All right. Well, let's cut the crying.
Catch a break.
Funny enough, I don't think that she's in that. Well, maybe we don't know something. I think that. Okay, let's just keep listening.
And I hate that I'm contributing to that.
All right, you need to chill the fuck out. That was an interesting question. Besides YouTube's TOS, can you give a legit reason why you shouldn't do something awful? Yeah, I think that as like shitty as what he did to her, like, he was screaming at her, and I'm sure that wasn't the only instance. I don't think that that's cause for him to take his life, because that's what your insinuation is. And while I can understand you're really riled up and you're upset, and I think that's valid to be upset, I don't think it's productive, because if we canceled everybody for being pieces of shit, we would have very few people left. I'm not certainly a good person. I've had my breakdowns. I've had my horrific expressions of anger. And again, I've never hurt anybody or hit anybody, but I'm not proud of myself. And so if I sat here and said, because he was yelling at his girlfriend, and again, I'd never done that before, that he should take his life. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, he didn't molest a child. You know what I mean? He didn't molest a child. He didn't stab or murder somebody in cold blood. He's a fucking, he is a incredibly emotionally immature, unstable young man that needs to be a better person. And I think that's not good to just say, well, yeah, he should just take his own. That's ridiculous to me. You know, there are drastically worse people in the world who've done exponentially less to try to be more productive in themselves. So, like, why, like, you know what I mean? Like, we've set a barrier. Why should this guy, like, what did he do? Like, what he did was shitty. Like, absolutely. But yeah, I don't think that everything is a cause for like ending it. I think that's you know, the insinuation. You know, yeah, but he made that video trying to say that he didn't understand how he grew. Okay, yeah, sure. Here's my thing. Here's my advice to you: is I think that if you, I don't know, maybe I'm just like a bad person or something, and so like I can understand like, or I've done shitty things before, so like I'm not as harsh on him or something, or maybe you don't realize how like maybe low your lows have been before. But like realistically speaking, nobody does something wrong and then gets confronted with it and then immediately changes. Most people take a while to get there, and it could take a lot. So like I don't think, you know, like I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't think like, okay, like he still doesn't get it, is what you're telling me. Yeah, of course, it's not easy. If it was easy, we wouldn't have therapists, would we? We wouldn't have, you know, an entire mental health profession. If people just understood it, we wouldn't have an entire mental health profession. We wouldn't really have individuals with different thoughts, feelings, or perspectives, because we would change almost immediately after a bad thing happened. But we're all very complex people, and we're a mixture of biological factors and environmental factors. And we kind of just turn out where we are. And, you know, I can't pinpoint every issue. It takes a while for people to change stuff. Just on like small levels, like, you know, you might be wrong about something, and then and somebody tells you that you're not going to change. Probably it takes a while. You have to come to the you know what I mean? So, you know, takes time. You know what I mean? I just don't think that that's, frankly, to be honest with you, that's not the type of community I'm trying to generate. It's the type of community that genuinely feels like this guy should fucking take his life. It's insane to me. I'm not particularly proud of that. Like, that's not something I really want in my community personally. I don't like that idea, that thought, the expression. I appreciate you saying it to me. Hopefully I could change your mind out of that, but that's fucking crazy.
I've calmed down a little bit and I've returned. Yeah. And what I felt during that time period was real.
That's probably
the pain
true.
I felt was real, but I misguided it towards her.
Okay.
And she has every right to feel as hurt as she does. And the internet has every right to be as pissed off at me as they are. I will do better.
I mean, despite the rest of that video, that was actually, I think that might have been genuine, and that was actually solid. So, yeah, I mean, that was decent. You know, I don't think, yeah, I mean, listen, we'll just see what happens. Papa, he basically thought Tina would lead the call. He made the video trying to say that everyone in the house is, hold was loud and that everyone yelled. Okay, I don't understand what the point that you're trying to get across to me. I think that you don't understand that I understand that. I don't know what you think I'm trying to say here. I'm not sitting here saying Brad ever did anything right. I'm saying that I don't think Brad is somebody that can't change and become a more productive version of himself and a more productive man for society. That's what I'm saying. You can keep telling me little things about how he acted like a piece of dog shit, and I'll say, okay, I know that. Like, I don't, I don't know. This isn't like I don't know. Listen, maybe this is just that. Maybe this is the video where we realize, like, I'm not that internet drama slop person that has the same energy as everybody else. Okay, and especially when we're talking about a topic of a young man who has considerable anger problems. That's clearly lost. Like, that's probably going to be the most identifiable thing for me to go into and have like the most amount of empathy for, because like that is fundamentally like what I was for the extraordinary amount of time, especially until I met my wife. So like I'm not going to sit here and dogpile, especially somebody that to some degree I'm going to fucking identify myself onto or project myself onto. You know, one of my things on the channel, like I love drama slop bullshit and I love talking about it because I think it's fun and it's silly. But like also, like I am a man, and that means a lot to me. And I've seen the worst version of myself. Well, hopefully the worst. You I'm sure it could have been worse, but it was still not great. I've seen the worst version of myself, and I'm actually happy with the best version of myself. And so, like, it would be kind of weird and maybe even hypocritical and kind of pathetic for me not to, like, look at that here and apply myself to that and be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, if I was able to be better out of my own control, well, partially in my control, but, like, with the help of other people, a lot of other people. It's not even just my wife. It's my wife. It's all the men around me. It's the women around me. It's like everybody. I mean, I was predestined. I should have been a failure, but I'm not. If I didn't try to apply some of those other people, like, what the fuck were we doing here? I don't know. Maybe I'm just, like, more personal with these types of topics because I could see some of myself in this, But yeah, man, I'm not gonna. I don't think that this guy needs to be, like, destroyed forever. I think that if he puts a good amount of work into himself for a good period of time, I think that he could, I mean, at the very least, he could be a productive person. I don't know if he can come back, but he could be a productive person. That's, like, the whole point of, like, prison and shit, right? Like, just, reformation. So, yeah.